Women and children! This way! Women and children!
Head for that ship on the horizon. Transfer your passengers and tell their captain to come at once. We require urgent assistance. If they can, they are not responding.
Surely they can
as
see our
quickly as you
rockets.
can.
Aye, aye, sir. Quickly now! Women and children!
Quickly! The boats are leaving!
Daddy, where are we going?
We're going on a little adventure. We'll be back soon.
Over here. Let's try this way.
I'm afraid it's women and children only, sir.
Please, sir, can't you see my wife needs help with the children?
Sorry, sir. Captain's orders.
What's the meaning of this? Is this a drill?
Only a precaution, sir. Everyone will be back aboard in good time.
John, I can't manage without you. I need you.
We'll just have to for now.
But
Don't worry, Marie. I'll get on another boat. You go ahead with the children.
Daddy, I don't
John, I
want
don't
to
see
go
any men
without
boarding
you.
lifeboats.
I'm sure there's other boats further down letting men board. Right, David, help your mother and sister board.
Yes, Dad.
I'm sorry, sir. Women and children only.
For God's
He's just
sake,
a
he's
boy.
just a boy.
What age is he?
He's only 16.
He'll have to stay on board with the other men.
God's sake.
Do something, John.
Is there nothing you can do? My wife can't manage alone.
I'm afraid not, sir. Captain's orders.
Hey, the officers are letting the boys leave on the other side. You must hurry.
Thanks, friend. Marie, take the baby. Look after Emily. We'll get on another boat. Emily, Daddy loves you very much. Be good for your mother and sister. We'll see you again soon.
Daddy, don't go. You have to come with us. We won't be
Shush
able
now.
to find you.
You're going on the boat with your mum and your sister. We'll be along shortly, I promise.
Daddy, I don't want to
Go
go.
straight to the next boat. Do what you must to get aboard. Do you understand?
I will, Ma'am, I will. Don't worry.
Mind him, John.
Right, Emily. Time to go. Be brave.
Here, let me help you.
No! No, Daddy,
Emily,
please!
go. You have
I
to
want
go with your mother.
You.
Go.
Please let me go with
No.
you. Dad,
You'll be all right.
Please.
We'll head straight for another boat.
Be good, child.
Women and
We'll see you
children,
soon.
final call!
Right, it's time to go.
No! No! I want my daddy! No!
Ready the ropes. Lower it away!
Bye. Bye,
There,
Emily.
sweetheart.
Bye, Marie.
They'll be fine.
Daddy!
Thank you.
My daughter was the same growing up. Father's favorite.
Do you believe there's any real danger?
Oh no, dear. I saw men locking the watertight doors as I left my cabin. I'm sure we will be back on board soon.
Hey! How do we get to the lifeboats?
We can't get up on the deck!
Dear. Do the steerage have their own boats?
I don't know. There should be boats in the third-class decks, but I haven't seen any.
Surely there must be extra boats kept elsewhere. Otherwise, how can all the passengers leave the ship?
How's your ankle, Helen? You took quite a tumble boarding the boat.
Swollen.
There. When we get back on board, Dr.
I think it may be
Lockman
broken.
At least this could make an interesting story for your next novel.
Yes, well, perhaps this type of adventure novel would
Father is
best
safe.
suit Colonel
Surely he'd be
Gracie.
safer on board the Titanic than here in this boat. Yes, well, this is not quite the ending to our adventure that I was expecting. Do you remember Father's face when we arrived?
Steady forward.
Steady forward and lower away astern.
Lower together, men.
Hold off!
Are there
We
any
can't
sailors
manage this
aboard?
boat with only one
Present
seaman.
yourself. This boat needs another hand.
I am a yachtsman, sir. I can row.
If you're seaman enough to get onto that boat, you can go.
Swing over that loose rope.
Oh my goodness.
Ready?
Thank you.
There, by the oarlock.
Lower together.
Ready! Lower away!
Almost there, Mother.
It's so dreadfully cold tonight.
Till morning.
I wasn't
Be
a
glad
pleasant
you're in
man.
here and not up there.
Mass was lovely this morning. Yes, this is his last
How
journey
nice the
commanding a
captain
ship.
is.
Such a beautiful ship to retire with.
There was a planned lifeboat drill this morning. They postponed it so the captain would attend mass instead.
Oh, perhaps that explains why the sailors on the deck
And
seemed
why our
almost
lifeboat has
unprepared
only
when
3
lowering this
sailors.
lifeboat.
Yes, this whole affair's been managed rather badly. I shall be making a complaint when we come aboard Titanic.
Help! I'm trapped! Help! Help!
Mommy, I'm scared.
Shh, it'll be fine.
Get ready to release the ropes.
Aye, aye, sir.
There's water coming in.
Get that plug in. The boat will founder.
Well, I never...
You there. Stand on that plug. Make sure it doesn't come out. Man the oars. We need to leave this ship. Or suction will pull us under.
Where are we heading?
Pull! Hurry, damn you!
Towards the lights on the horizon, just off the port bow.
We can help row.
Pull! Put your backs into it!
I can steer the rudder.
No! The men will row.
Look,
No,
Jack.
you will
Look
not.
what I have
Sit
here.
down.
He's friendly. He won't bite. Would you like to hold him? Can you look after him for me? While we're
He's
on
so
the
soft.
boat?
I should have stayed on deck with Quig.
Yes,
No,
Mom.
it was good of you to join us in the boat.
Quig wouldn't have allowed you to stay on deck.
I'm sure we will be back on deck shortly. Never mind that sailor.
And what if there is real danger?
There can't be. The captain said so himself. This is just a precaution.
This fog on the horizon and no moonlight. I doubt the other ship
Yes,
will even
it's
see us
hard
approach.
to see anything tonight.
Much
Ma'am,
better.
can you hold
Thank
this, please? Let's hope they see
It
us.
looks like some boats don't have the lanterns lit.
The sky is beautiful tonight.
Look at them all around. Are there any supplies in this boat? Any blankets?
There's nothing. No water, no bread,
I
no
don't
compass.
see any.
There are a few here.
Yes, some here too.
A stowaway.
Oh, officer! Officer, look!
Sorry. So sorry. I can't swim.
Coward. Get over
I
there and
can't.
start
I broke
rowing.
my arm. That's why I can't swim. Please, please, sir. Let me stay. I'm begging you. I don't stand a chance up there.
Sit down then. You're lucky I haven't thrown you
Here you are.
overboard.
Thank you. Here you are, madame.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you. It must be below freezing.
Best we keep
Thanks.
that baby warm.
Thank you. Are you warm enough, Emily? Such a precious child.
Yes, Mom.
Do you have children yourself?
Yes, my daughter is at our home in New York.
I wonder if the others made it to the boats.
I hope they did. The boats must be all in the water by now.
Do you have family on board?
No. Our colleagues in the a la carte restaurant.
We were allowed to go up to the boats, but the men are being held in the second-class dining hall.
Oh, that's dreadful. Why aren't they allowed up to the boats?
They have to wait until all the passengers have left the ship.
But I did see Mr. 𝗏𝗂𝗃 on deck, and the head chef. So they might have been let up early.
Oh, I hope so. The ship is listing quite badly now.
Perhaps they're
The lights
just
don't seem to be
reflections
getting closer.
on the water.
No, they're definitely lights from another ship.
They look
We
like
were signalling them
stars to me.
earlier.
You should assist us
Keep
rowing.
rowing towards the lights.
Allow
Captain's
one of the
orders.
women to steer the boat. It's a perfectly calm night.
The
You
women should be
row, sir.
allowed
I
to
will remain
row.
in command of this boat.
Rowing will keep us warm and we'll reach that ship in half the time.
No!
I agree. The movement will warm us.
I am in charge of
my.
this boat. The women are not
Look
to
at the
row.
angle of our ship.
But it's unsinkable.
But
surely
the watertight doors should keep her afloat.
We only glanced the iceberg. Surely she isn't that damaged?
She'll founder. It's just a
What
matter
about
of
those not in
time.
lifeboats? What about Daddy?
Welcome to the Titanic VR guided tour. We are currently 3.8 kilometres below the surface of the North Atlantic and 100 metres east of the bow. This submersible is on autopilot. However, you can adjust your spotlight using the far left lever. Please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. I'll provide you with information about locations as we pass them, so please sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. The RMS Titanic was the second White Star Line Olympic-class ocean liner, the first being RMS Olympic and the third being HMHS Britannic. She was 269 metres long, 28 metres wide and 72 metres tall from the bottom of her keel to the top of her masts. At 46,328 tonnes, she was the largest ship built at the time, being only slightly bigger than Olympic. She would be servicing the transatlantic route, a journey from Southampton, England to New York, USA. She stops at Cherbourg, France and Queenstown, Ireland. After departing Queenstown on the afternoon of Thursday, the 11th of April, RMS Titanic began her 5,360-kilometre journey to New York City. She was due to arrive in the early hours of Wednesday, the 17th of April, but with calm ocean conditions and good weather, it was possible she could arrive early on Tuesday evening instead. The night of the 14th of April was moonless, and a light fog was developing on the horizon. Titanic's captain, Edward Smith, had received a number of ice warnings during the day, and had changed their course so they were further south to avoid the affected areas. The captain retired to bed, and First Officer William Murdoch took charge of the bridge as officer of the watch. Titanic steamed ahead until 11:40 p.m, when the lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee spotted an iceberg directly ahead. Fleet rang the warning bell 3 times to indicate an obstacle ahead and phoned the bridge. Murdoch gave the order, hard a starboard, and the ship turned to port, but it was too late. Titanic struck the iceberg on her starboard side. The impact buckled hull plates and sheared rivets, revealing her first 6 compartments to the ocean. As the iceberg slid down the side of the ship, Murdoch ordered a hard a port, swinging the Titanic's stern out of the path of the iceberg. He also closed the watertight doors, isolating the flooding to those damaged compartments. The forward 3 hatches, along with the peak tank and boiler rooms 5 and 6, were breached. After the collision, RMS Titanic stopped and almost immediately took a starboard list. The captain organised a group to inspect the damage and ordered the carpenter, John Maxwell, to sound the ship. Chief designer Thomas Andrews knew the volume of each breached compartment and calculated that the initial flooding rate was around 15,000 tonnes within the first 40 minutes. With this information, he estimated Titanic would sink within 90 minutes. He then informed the captain, who then ordered the officers to begin preparing the lifeboats. All free seamen were sent up to the boat deck to begin pulling the covers off the lifeboats and to collect lanterns, blankets, food and water for the passengers. Passengers were woken by their stewards and told to put on their life belts and head up to the boat deck. Titanic carried just 20 lifeboats, 4 more than required by the regulations outlined by the British Board of Trade. There were 14 regular wooden lifeboats, 2 smaller cutters and 4 Engelhart collapsible boats. The total capacity of these lifeboats was only 1,178 people, far less than the total on board. This fact must have weighed heavily on the captain's mind, as he specified the boats to be filled with women and children first. Just over an hour after the collision, the first lifeboat left the sinking ship. To convince women to leave, officers tried assuring them it was only a precaution, that they would be back on board by daylight. First Officer Murdoch filled the starboard side, while Second Officer Charles Lightoller filled port. The officers interpreted the captain's women and children first order differently, with Murdoch putting men into the boats after all the women and children near the boat had entered. 𝗦𝘂𝗧, on the other hand, only allowed women and children to enter the boats and refused all men and boys over 14 years old. By 1:45 AM, Titanic was down by about 5 degrees to the head, with the forecastle almost underwater. Panic began to rise through the passengers still on deck as they watched boat after boat launch. A few male passengers were physically removed from stern portside lifeboats 14 and 16, and 5th Officer Harold Lowe warned other men not to approach by firing his pistol into the water below. The situation at the starboard bow was similar, with a group of men storming collapsible sea. Murdoch fired his pistol twice to warn them to move back from the lifeboat, and they were dragged out by other male passengers. A large group of third-class women and children took their place, along with a few seamen and the owner of White Star Line, Joseph Bruce Ismay. In the radio room, Titanic's Marconi operators were desperately communicating with nearby stations and ships. Throughout the night, senior operator Jack Phillips worked the 5-kilowatt Marconi wireless radio set to send out distress signals using both the old CQD and new SOS call codes. He alerted nearby ships to their position and status, and received updates of ship locations and estimated arrival times. Junior operator Harold Bride took these updates to Captain Smith and passed the captain's responses back to Phillips for transmission. RMS Carpathia radio operator Harold Cotton was off duty and about to go to bed when he decided to listen in to the nightly news from Cape Cod. Operators there mentioned they had ice warnings for Titanic, and Cotton decided to pass on the message. He was surprised when Phillips responded to his call with a CQD and gave Titanic's location. Cotton immediately took the message to Carpathia's captain, Arthur Rostron, who ordered all hands on deck and told Cotton to let Titanic know they were on their way. As the water reached the boat deck, the operators left their station, with Bride heading towards the port bow and Phillips to the starboard stern. Murdoch and 6th Officer James Moody was standing on the starboard side, loading collapsible A into the davits. 𝗦𝘂𝗧 was on the officers' quarters rooftop, removing collapsible B, when the bridge suddenly ducked under the surface. Waves washed over the decks, carrying people and the collapsible lifeboats into the ocean. The forward funnel collapsed at its base, with the resulting wave crushing the starboard bridge wing and those swimming in the water nearby. The stern rose out of the water, peaking at an angle of around 15 degrees. This placed stress on Titanic's keel, which buckled and twisted, tearing the ship in half and sending the waterlogged bow plummeting to the ocean floor. The tear wasn't clean, with decks failing to hold on at varying positions. The stern, now rapidly filling with water, bobbed on the surface for a few minutes before slipping under. RMS Titanic was carrying an estimated 2,208 passengers and crew, with only 712 surviving the disaster. Those who survived spent the night floating in darkness until RMS Carpathia arrived around 4 AM. Captain Rostron had pushed the Cunard liner to break her speed record, but it wasn't enough. Titanic had sunk before Carpathia arrived, and they found 20 lifeboats at Titanic's location. Unfortunately, the exact number of victims is unknown, as there were many last-minute ticket purchases and cancellations, and that documentation was lost along with the ship. Of the 1,317 known passengers, over half were travelling third class or steerage as it was known. These passengers couldn't access the boat deck without entering second class or crew areas, meaning many were unaware how to get to the lifeboats and escape the sinking ship. First and second class passengers had no issues making their way to the boat deck, as staircases provided both classes direct access. Many expeditions to find and raise the wreck were proposed over the years, with the exact location of her wreck being unknown. Titanic's coordinates sent out in distress on the night of the accident had been incorrect. On the 1st of September 1985, a Canadian-French team were searching the area when Dr. Robert Ballard came across some small debris. He followed the trail which led him to a boiler and eventually the wreck. His discovery confirmed suspicions that Titanic had in fact split, and there was no hope of raising the wreck as a whole. Scientists and historians have long argued for and against the recovery of artefacts from the site, with many agreeing the site should be treated as a mass grave. Although it's predicted Titanic's wreck will disintegrate within the next 20 years, her story will intrigue generations to come.
Dr. Lynch. You should be nearly at the sea floor. Telemetry looks good. Say 100 meters?
Sounds about right.
Good. Excited?
Yeah, I've seen all the footage, but I mean, it's different to be so close to her.
Ever done anything like this before?
Yeah, Bismarck as a grad student, and 𝗦𝘂𝗧𝗂𝗧 on vacation a couple of years back.
Hell of a resume.
Alright, I've reached the seabed. Can't see much.
You're still a couple of 100 meters out, and back to manual control. Shall we run an equipment test?
Sure, let's do this by the book.
Alright, let's run through the controls on the panel in front of you. The center left joystick allows you to move the submersible forward, back, left, and right. The center right joystick controls the yaw, letting you rotate left and right. Now let's check the altitude controls. The lever on the far right allows you to ascend and descend.
Okay.
If you look down at your hands, you can see your controllers. The top button on your right controller is the info button. Holding down the info button will bring up the control diagram for your handpieces. If it feels more comfortable, you can operate the submersible using these controls on your handpieces instead of physically moving the levers.
Great. How do I interact with objects?
You can interact with objects in the submersible by touching the object with your controller, and then pull the trigger to use. If you ever get stuck, just hold down the info button again to bring up the controls diagram.
Will do.
Right, now we'll move on to the map and missions. You'll see in the middle of the console in front of you is a map. It shows your current location as a blue pointer at the bottom of the screen. As you approach the wreck, it will slowly appear on the map. The yellow icon is your current goal location, so you know where you should be heading. I'll update the map and your goal locations as we go through contracts.
Right. Right.
The screen just to the left of the console displays the mission log. The far left lever controls your sub's lights. To turn the spotlights on and off, interact with the button in front of the lever.
Got it.
Okay, you'd better place a marker before we head too far. Interact with the button next to the map to place one. Interact with the button in front of the map to place a marker.
Marker's been placed.
You can head towards the bow. So, I had a call from our main sponsor.
Problem?
No, all fine. Just voicing her excitement about us finally diving. Said she's looking forward to seeing what we can do. I've set up a call for 8 p.m. this evening.
For 45,000. Whoa.
There's something you don't see every day.
She's a beauty.
Okay, first things first. We've got a contract with the Titanic Society to place their commemorative plaque on the forecastle deck. Get yourself into position.
All right. Coming up to it now.
You'll need the Predator for this task.
Ah, the ROV.
Yep, courtesy of Flight Avionics and the latest in augmented reality technology. If you look up, you'll find a set of VR goggles and a control. The controls to maneuver the Predator are the same as the submersible. Make your way over to the plaques already laying on the deck, and remember that the range is only up to 15 meters. The advantage of driving without an umbilical.
Is there any way to boost the signal?
Yeah, but we need to upgrade the deep-sea transmitter, and they don't come cheap. The generosity of our sponsors and you just remember what I said about these new ROVs. If we complete the range jobs, we might just be able to afford some upgrades.
What happens if I go out of range?
The automatic recall kicks in. ROV comes straight back to the sub.
I'm here.
Great. The plaque we're placing is in the Predator's inventory. You can access it through the menu.
Ah, how do I open the menu?
You can open the menu by pressing and releasing the info button. While in the menu, you can check your map and mission log and access the inventory. To interact with items in the inventory, use the laser pointer to highlight the item and pull the trigger to select.
Okay, I'll place the plaque down on top of the flashing beacon. I'll take a photograph with the onboard camera for the Society.
Great idea. They'll appreciate that. You can access the camera through the ROV inventory. Open up the menu again and select the camera icon from the inventory screen.
Done. I'll head back to Sedna.
No need. Just press the top button on your left controller. Now you're back in the sub. Recall the ROV by pressing the button next to the ROV goggles. It's above you on the right.
Where to now?
Hull breach on E deck. I'll mark it on your map.
We're heading for his cabin, right?
That's right. Eyewitness testimony said Henderson kept a journal. It should tell us more about his activities on the final night.
I presume I'm looking for some kind of trunk.
Henderson had a briefcase listed on the manifest. With any luck, it's still in his room. Dr. Lynch?
Yeah?
Why are we doing this?
$45,000 a day at sea.
No, I know, but that just about covers the costs of the expedition. I meant, like, why are we taking this job in particular?
Well, put it this way. Why do you think she hired us?
Because we're academics?
Yes, but more specifically, we respect the history. It would have been cheaper for our sponsor to just hire a salvage team.
And why'd you agree to take it?
Funding like this comes once in a blue moon, and I wanted to see her up close.
This breach is from the impact with the ocean floor. Anything in here is going to be messy.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
It's towards the top of the breach. Look for the flashing beacon. I really hope his briefcase is there.
Found a briefcase. I just need to pick it up by holding down one of the triggers to interact. WJH. I think this is it.
Well, that's lucky. Are you going to open it?
No, not here. Assuming there's anything intact in there, it'll start degrading as soon as I open the case. I'll have to bring it back to the lab before we can take a peek.
Okay, let's get you to the surface. Activate the autopilot and get comfortable.
Alright, I'll see you in about 2 hours. Okay, I'm back in the lab. I need to complete the tasks listed on the whiteboard by teleporting around the room and interacting with the recovered items and preservation stations.
Looks to be in good condition.
When I complete a task, let's get this cleaned up. A bone hair comb. I'll need to wash the salt out quickly before it crystallizes and the bone starts to crumble. Ready for drying in the acetone bath. Silver doesn't look great after being in the ocean. This tobacco tin is covered in silver sulfide. I'll have to gently wash this using a soft brush, making sure I don't scratch the surface underneath. It's come up great. This journal is pretty special. The pages seem to be a fabric-paper blend. I think the desalination bath will leach out the salt. Then it can go into the PEG station before freeze-drying. Special package. That's interesting. These banknotes are delicate, and will need a good rinsing in the desalination bath. Then we can treat them in the fungicide to keep them clean before
Here's our
freeze-drying them.
sponsor. We can tell her the news.
Hi, team. How are you both?
Hi, Gillian. We're doing great.
We've just finished cleaning the artifacts we found today. We managed to access Henderson's cabin and retrieve his briefcase.
Wonderful.
Inside we found his journal, a few personal items still in good condition. One interesting item is a receipt for a telegraph sent on the night of the sinking.
Oh, that is interesting. I didn't know William sent a message.
That's what we thought.
It's possible it wasn't sent, and that it's still in either the purser's office or the Marconi room. We're thinking our next dive should be to explore these rooms.
I know teams have searched the Marconi room before, but I didn't think the purser's office was accessible.
Yeah, up till now it's been off limits due to the size of ROVs, but ours is small enough to access it. We're hoping we might find the purser's record book, with the message listed.
As for the Marconi room, other dives have shown most of the furniture is deteriorated, but the telegraph canisters might have survived.
Sounds plausible. Let me know if you find anything. I'd love to see the message he sent. I've only the letters from Southampton.
I noticed something odd in his journal. On the 14th he mentions carrying some special package, but I'm sure he didn't have anything reported in the manifest. Do you have any idea what it could be?
Well, in his last letter, he wrote about returning home with a present for my great-grandmother. I'll do a bit of research on my end. I can check over the manifest again to see if we missed anything.
Great, we'll let you know if we find anything tomorrow. I'm sending over photos of the items we found today.
Thanks, I really appreciate the regular updates. It's making writing much easier. We'll talk again soon.
Well, shall we call it a day?
Not quite. Gillian was kind enough to order in a stronger transmitter for our ROV. We'll need to fit it before the dive tomorrow. Otherwise, we won't be able to reach the purser's office.
I need to replace the transmitter in the ROV.
It's waiting for you over
one
there.
On the table next to it. Thanks. I need to replace the transmitter in the ROV with the one on the table next to it. I need to lift the black hood to place the transmitter, then lift the bar up to put the sample container in the storage compartment. She's all ready to go for tomorrow.
Cool. I'll see you in the morning then.
Radio check, Wilson.
Coming in nice and clear, Dr. Lynch.
Great. First up is the purser's office on C deck, correct?
Correct. To access it, you'll need to head down through the hole where the forward grand staircase was. I'll mark it on your map.
The C deck is pretty compressed from what I've heard.
Yeah, the impact with the sea floor bent most of the supporting pillars, so they're struggling with the weight of the floors above.
With the rate of decay increasing, it won't be long before it all collapses. I'm glad we've had a chance to come down here and see it for ourselves, before all this becomes inaccessible.